Hey y'all, it's Bailey with Reclaim Grace. I'm so happy you clicked on this video. Today we have some more Christmas thrift flip makeovers. The first project, I struggled. I struggled so bad, but the rest of the projects, I absolutely love how they came out. Y'all let me know what y'all think and what your favorite project is, and we're going to get started right now. Here we go with our first project today, which is a thrifted birdhouse that I need to get glued back together. But y'all, before we really get into this one, let me just tell you, this project gave me a hard time. I was very indecisive with this whole project, so y'all are gonna pretty much see that process. So here we are using some Tite Bond Quick and Thick to get this roof glued on to the birdhouse. I'm just going to apply some pressure and let that sit up for 24 hours. Next, I need to get rid of the beautiful painting on the exterior of this birdhouse. It is a little bit raised, so I'm going to take my sander and just sand that nice and smooth. Just if I run over it with my hands, I just want to make sure I do not feel any of that paint. Now, like I said, I just did not know where to go with this birdhouse. So I just started off by painting the actual house part in a neutral white color. I figured that would be a good starting point. I did 2 coats of this white all-in-one paint by Fusion all over the painted blue surfaces. Next, I'm going to start painting the roof. I've decided to start with the hard part first. So I have the birdhouse flipped upside down, and I'm going to very carefully paint the underneath side of the roof and cut in along the wall of my birdhouse. I'm using ash here, and 1 coat is good enough. I'm going to take that same ash fusion paint and paint the base of the birdhouse as well, and the underneath side. I went through my mold stash. Y'all, we'll get to that part in a second. I went through so many different molds trying to figure this design out. But I found this frames IOD mold, and I just cast that little oval frame right there with air dry clay. And I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and cut the center of the frame out. And this is actually going to go and fit perfectly around the hole in our birdhouse. I'm going to take my fingers and just kind of mesh that air dry clay back together so there's no, rough edges. And then we're going to try it out. Just ignore those greenery pieces up top. I was just kind of figuring out. I was super excited that this piece fit so perfectly around the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and get that glued down with some Tite Bond Quick and Thick. Now, I knew going into this project that I wanted to add the waltz stamp somewhere on this birdhouse. I have not used this stamp set yet, and I have no clue why. It is really like a Christmas staple, I feel like, music notes. So I needed to use it. I've grabbed some permanent black IOD ink, and I've inked up the back of my stamp. I did not grow a third hand. That is Mama trying to help me hold it down so the stamp doesn't shift. But we're going to do the 2 sides and the back of the birdhouse with the waltz stamp. And I do have some of these available on my website if y'all are interested. So here it goes. Decisions. I cast several designs from Victoriana mold. I did this one and I drilled a hole in it that would fit this dowel. And as I was drilling the hole, the casting broke. But that's not a big deal. We can glue that back together. I knew for sure I wanted this piece in my design on the front of my birdhouse so I could just fit the perch into the design. So I played around with different other designs from Victoriana mold. I played with the other one, those trimmings, these pieces. I did not like how either one of those looked. I cast these from old Christmas tree, and I did not like the way that looked either. Then I grabbed some like little beaded trimming from Victoriana, and I ended up gluing those down, but I hated it, and we'll come back to that. So I knew I wanted this piece. So we're going to get these glued down using some super glue and some accelerating spray. Using a Q-tip to spread around that super glue, and we're going to get this stuck down to the front of the birdhouse. I'm going to shoot it, excuse me, I'm going to shoot it with this accelerating spray. It just makes it dry instantly, which I love. And we're going to get that broken piece glued back down. Then I realized I needed to drill a hole through my birdhouse so I can fit my dowel through there, and it could just be a little bit more supportive. So I did that, and we're going to get this dowel glued in. Now, if you see at the top of my birdhouse, you can see those beaded trimmings that I didn't record gluing down. I end up taking those off in a later step. I guess that's why I didn't show y'all. But for now, we're going to get these castings I just glued down base layered, or just not base layered, painted in the same white paint we used on the rest of the birdhouse. So then I had an idea. I grabbed a thin mount and I marked some 45-degree lines on it, just measuring my birdhouse peak with a Sharpie, and I have my hot glue gun. This hot glue gun is like warmed up. It is very, very hot. So I'm going to create some fake looking drippy snow icicles with the hot glue, hoping and praying once this dries, I can peel it off the thin mount. Now, I'm not going to say it wasn't a struggle peeling it off, but I did eventually get it off as a fly is worrying the absolute crap out of me. So here is one side. Here's one side, and I was like, okay, these pieces that I glued on earlier have to go. So y'all, that super glue is like the bomb. Like, it is really tough to get it off if you change your mind, but after several attempts and a couple X-Acto blades, I did get it off. I want to fix that boo-boo with some paint. Paint can fix near about anything. And as that's drying, I'm going to base layer my icicles. I'm going to paint them white, kind of dabbing and stippling so I can make sure it grips on to this hot glue. And I'm going to paint both sides of those. And then I'm going to glue them right here with some hot glue. I don't know how I missed recording that, but I did, and they are glued on. Now, honestly, I didn't really like how it was going, but I liked it a lot better than all my other options. I painted my little casting details in bronze metallic by Paint Couture, and then I jumped back to trying to disguise, like, gluing that hot glue piece on. I figured adding some snow text would make it look more realistic and more like snow. And I'm really glad I did that because I feel like this is what made the project. So I'm just going to start tapping that on, filling in any seams with this snow text. And I started using my fingers because it would like actually stick better using my fingers instead of trying to stick to the paintbrush. This project was a mess. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it so far. I just don't know. But we're going to let this snow text fully dry. And one of the last steps I did was try to add a little bit more detail to the front by adding some splatter of that same gold paint. And y'all, this is the finished project. I'm not going to say I hate it. I like it. I don't love it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I priced it for $24, and I have it hanging from my beams in my booth, like through a window, and it does look pretty cute there. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Now here is a much easier project. In several projects today, we're just kind of putting items together to be a project. So I have a circle frame, thrifted, probably paid 49 cents for it, very cute. And I found this cross-stitched Santa needlework. It's like unfinished piece. It's heavily stained, but it is so cute to go to waste. So I'm going to hot glue it to the round backer piece of my frame. Here it is. Isn't Santa just so cute there? I love needlework, y'all. It's just really amazing, and I collect the pieces myself for my home. So we're going to cut off the extra fabric, and here is the gorgeous frame. Y'all, if IOD would make a frame mold just like this one, it would be perfect. The size, the bow, everything about it is very on trend right now. I'm going to put that backer piece in and put my little tack to hold the backer piece back into the plastic frame. And this piece is done. It sold right away in my booth, and I priced it for $14.95. Our next project, I picked up 2 pillows on a yard sale for $3, and I grabbed these because I seen where I could take the pillow insert out. And that's exactly what I needed to do a project I had in mind. So as I was taking the second pillow insert out, I found a key inside the pillow. I was like, wow, somebody probably forgot that they put it there and thrifted them or donated them. But either way, I thought that was pretty cool. We are going to be stamping Sugar Plum IOD stamp on the front of both of these pillows. And of course, I'm grabbing the nutcrackers. I love nutcrackers, y'all. I know you either love them or don't like them, but I think they're still on trend. So I want to see how these do in my booth. I'm figuring out placement here before I start stamping. I'm using my fingers to measure. So girl math, girl measuring there. I'm going to re-ink up my IOD ink pad with some more permanent black ink because whenever you stamp on fabric, you really want that ink nice and juicy. So I'm inking up the back of my first nutcracker. I'm going to definitely make sure I wipe away any rogue ink. I'm going to figure out placement, and then I'm going to fully commit and press down on the back side of the stamp. When stamping on fabric, you press harder than you would think because it really needs to embed itself and kind of bleed the fabric. So I like to kind of lift them up and peek underneath it before I commit and take and remove the stamp, and that turned out great. So I decided to add a little guideline of tape so I can make sure that they're somewhat straight. And I'm going to do the other side next. And then I'm just going to continue alternating between the 2 nutcrackers and stamping these and using tape as a guide and marker of where I need to place the stamp at. I did heat set these in the dryer before putting the pillow inserts back in. I think this would have came out way better if the fabric of the pillow was more white and the thread weave was more tighter of a weave, but they still came out really cute, and I priced them $12 a pillow. Y'all let me know what y'all think about these. This project is one of my favorites from this video. I have a Hobby Lobby wreath that I got 50% off at the beginning of the season. I'm going to remove all the tags. I think this wreath had like 3 tags on it. Why? Why does it need 3 tags? Either way, I have these yard sale lids, bushel basket lids. Very cool pieces. I picked both of them up for a couple dollars, and we're going to add a wreath to it. So I want this wreath to not be permanent. I want the customer to be able to like change them out every season. So we're going to use wire to attach them. I'm just looping it around the wreath a couple times, and then I will flip the basket lid over and just secure that wire by just twisting it around itself a few times, nice and tight. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side of the wreath. That simple, really. It's just a reminder that all of your projects do not have to be detail oriented and difficult to be awesome. Right? Like I get that in my head sometimes that it's got to be unique, it's got to be hours and hours of work, but it really don't, y'all. Either way, I have this Timu ribbon here. It's like a gold shade, and I am not a professional bow maker. Let me say that. But I did my best here, and I'm gonna make like an awareness shape and then kind of crunch the middle together. I'm using some wire to secure it in the center, and then I'm gonna attach this wire to the top of my wreath. This is a wall hanging piece, so I wanted to make sure my project isn't going to scratch someone's wall. So I'm going to take some masking tape and just place a couple layers on the back side, covering the wire up, so that way you can remove it and it's not going to damage someone's wall by scratching it. Other than that, I made 2 of these, and y'all, they are perfect in my opinion. I love the long droopy bow. The color of this basket lid is everything, and I think it's super cute. I priced them for $27 a piece. Here's another favorite from this video. We're starting off with some thrifted mini frame ornaments. $1.99 for this pack from Salvation Army, and my neighbor just started his lawnmower. I hope y'all can't hear that. It never fails. I have used some resin, some quick drying resin in my snow globes mold because I want to use some of these miniatures in these mini frames. Y'all, I love these miniatures in this set. Like, I realistically got this set for my personal stash because of the miniatures, not even the snow globes. We are going to be gluing these to the center of our frames. I've kind of mapped out my layout here, and this is what I've came up with. And we're going to be using my go-to super glue and accelerating spray for very impatient crafters like me. Y'all, this product's in my Amazon store if y'all are interested. It comes with 2 bottles of glue and 2 bottles of the accelerating spray. Y'all try it out. Yeah, it's a game changer. But we're going to get these glues down, and then we can immediately come in and start painting. No waiting for glue to dry. I'm going to use an all-in-one white paint to paint the center of my frames. I just needed to do 1 coat. This paint is good and thick, so I'm going to add a little bit of texture by pouncing up and down, making sure I get into all the details of our little miniature castings. Next, we're going to come in and add a base layer of black chalk paint to our frames. This is going to help our next step stick and be more vibrant. So I'm going to very carefully, this is like sped up ×8. So this was a pretty tedious part of the project. I'm going to cut in and paint the frames. And I'm going to go ahead and apply a coat to the chain and the back of the frame as well. And here is how we're looking after just 1 coat of that black paint. And now we're coming in with my favorite gold color. This is Bronze by Paint Couture. Their metallic looks paint. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Either way, I use this a lot. It's my favorite. We're going to add 1 coat over everywhere we just painted black. The last step is to bring out the details. We need to bring out the details of our miniature castings, and I'm going to do that by using a brown glaze. This is by Paint Couture, and I really like this product too. I don't use many Paint Couture products, but I really like their bronze and this glaze. So we're just applying that to the white painted surfaces, and since we used an all-in-one paint, it's going to wipe back very easily. And just look at the difference. Like this fox and the single designs are my favorite, and they sold very quick too. But either way, we're going to get all these glazed up, and that's it for this project. I priced them between $3.95 and $4.95 a piece, and I've had all but one sale during my open house this weekend. What do y'all think about these? And if y'all are interested in the snow globe mold, head over to my website and pick it up. IOD is ran out on their website, so what I have available now is all I'm going to be able to grab. Our last project today is a pretty straightforward, simple one, and you've probably seen it 1,000 times. But here I have a Santa candle holder, planter, whatever it is. I have cleaned it and sprayed it with one coat of shellac so we can get a good adhesion for applying this clay-based paint. I'm using vintage linen here, and I'm going to apply 2 coats to the exterior of our little Santa vase. I'm going to go ahead and paint the bottom as well so we can cover up that Made in China stamp. Now that our 2 coats are dry, I decided it would be a good idea to clear coat this clay-based paint. Not that you necessarily have to before you come into the next step, but I don't know. I was just on a whim here and decided to give it 1 coat of my polyacrylic matte before coming in with my fine line crackle. Y'all, I have been loving this. I actually want to put in an application with Art to see if I can sell some of their products. So, I don't know. We'll see about that. But I have been gravitating toward this fine line crackle, and I just love it. So, I applied step 1 all over, let that dry, and now I'm applying component 2. Component 2 is a lot more runnier, so you kind of got to keep an eye on it and watch for runs and drips. Make sure it doesn't pull up in any area because you will get that amber hue. So I just keep an eye on it for about 15 minutes until it's dry. It takes about an hour to dry to the touch, and then I'm going to come in with my Art antiquing paste. I have fell in love with this product too over the fine line crackle especially. And I'm going to use a piece of blue shop towel wrapped in my finger, and we're going to start smearing this paste on the sorry, my throat's been giving out on me. I mean, my voice. My voice is giving out on me. We're going to use the paste over the crackle is what I'm trying to say. And it wipes off fairly easily because of the high gloss sheen. I finished up the antiquing paste, and I'm just going to use this Hobby Lobby tree that I got 50% off, and I'm going to stick it inside the Santa planter. And that is it for this project. I priced our little aged Santa for $23, and I believe he sold this past weekend too. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. I hope y'all enjoyed those projects. I had a few favorites. Y'all let me know what y'all's favorite project was. And I wanted to hop up here for just a second and share about my YouTube channel membership program. I have 2 separate programs. The first one is $3.99 a month, and that is just like giving me a tip. You get special features with that one, and you can get all that information in my description box. It's just member shout outs, things like that, special emojis beside your name when you comment. My next membership is one I'm really proud of. It is called Restored. And what you're going to get every month is a special video going over everything I sold in the previous month. I shoot to have this video out like a couple days, like the beginning of the month for the previous month. But I have decided I'm going to email out my sales sheet every week so you can see what's currently selling and what's more relevant when it's selling, instead of having to wait a whole month in between finding out what's selling, right? So I figured that would help y'all out a lot. You also get freebies. You can ask the members that have already signed up. I have a lot of craft stash, y'all. A lot of extra IOD transfers and inlays and stamps and just bits and bobs that I want to share with y'all. So I just select certain members every month, once a month, and I ship them out. And it's random-ish, but I make sure I keep track of who I'm sending it to, so I don't send them so everybody can get a share, is what I'm saying. I have struggled communicating this whole video. But yeah, so it's fun. It's just to help y'all out. Also, if you're booth owners, I've been doing this for about 4 years now, so I have learned a few things. So if you are signing up to be a restored member, please, please, please email me. My email address is always in my description box below. I have to have that information so I can send you some freebies and give you the free shipping coupon code that you also get in that membership. So I can send that to you in your email. Either way, I know that was a whole lot of blabbing, but I just wanted to really break it down and let y'all know what the membership is about, and just to make y'all aware of it. Every time I mention it in my videos is when I get new member signups. When I don't mention it, I don't get any signups. So I need to mention this in every video. I hope y'all understand that. So either way, I really, really, really appreciate y'all support. However you support me, if it's by watching this video, liking it, commenting, subscribing, memberships, buying from my website, however you support me, I really, really appreciate it, and I want you to know it. I hope y'all have a fabulous day, friends, and I'll talk to y'all in the comments. Bye.